guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today is yet another story time, but before we get there, I just want to say how I hate South Africa because of load shedding. Like, I really am annoyed by it. Like, I cannot wait until God blesses me enough to just be able to fly to another country, debate in nice life problems, because this is too much. Like, I literally did my makeup, and then when I was done, no electricity. And I was thinking to myself, maybe I could use the sunlight, but no. So yeah, I really am mad at South Africa right now, and like the ANC, and just the fact that I am not living a soft life. But it's fine, God will make a plan. I will get there, and then I will have nice life problems too. But yeah, other than that, we are here, guys, and I hope you love my makeup as much as I love it. Like, I was thinking to myself, I don't want to sleep, and actually I woke up at 6 a.m. and then I realized there's no electricity, and then I was like, no, it's probably gonna take 2 hours. It takes like 4 hours at like 10, and I was so mad. So when it left again, I was thinking to myself, oh God, please don't let it leave for 4 hours. And I was trying to not sleep because I wanted to like make sure my makeup is good. So now that we're here, child, this upload is actually a story time, and as you can see by the title, it is, have you ever liked your cousin? Like, you love your cousin, you enjoy their presence, their company, but you just don't like their parent. Like, they are just not for you. So that's the story for today. But yeah, before we get into that, guys, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, or just subscribe, because that's the main part of this part. But at the end, you can like, comment, and share it. But yeah, let's get it. So okay, this story time goes back to when I was very young. After my mother passed away, we moved in with our dad, because they were not married when I was like conscious. By the time I was conscious, they were already divorced. So luckily my father stepped in, and then we moved in with him. And I cannot lie, as soon as we got there, like, we were introduced to my father's sister, which is my aunt, and my father's mom, which is my grandmother, and his other siblings. But the reason why I'm mentioning these two is because I felt the energy of not being welcomed from them. And then, but I ignored it, and I was a kid, and like, my mom always taught me to respect my elders and to just be a nice person, so obviously I was like a nice kid. Yeah, my sister also felt this energy as well, and I think it was also evident in their facial expressions, like their actions as well. And you could just like, I think it wasn't hard for you to also see, maybe for someone who's outside to see that maybe they have some type of energy of not wanting us, or not liking me and my sibling. So like, and I noticed this, like, I think also my grandmother isn't a loving person. Maybe it goes back to how she grew up. Like, I love her as a person, but she's not that type of grandmother where you'd be like, oh my gosh, I go back to my grandmother, and to my grandmother I could never do no wrong. Like, I'm so perfect to her, she cooks for me. No, my grandmother is cold. Like, from my father's side, she's like cold, and she's not like welcoming, so like, it was just that vibe. Also, now that I'm older, I'm also realizing that it could be the fact that my parent was like the breadwinner, the main breadwinner. So I think it makes sense now when I hear stories about people saying, oh, they didn't like us in the family because we were we were his kids and he was the breadwinner, because they felt like we were going to take something from them, because my father obviously grew up in the society of apartheid, so obviously when he got a job, he wanted to make sure that his parent and his siblings are good, and it's like a black tax thing, so he would obviously buy them things, yeah. So now that I'm older, I'm also realizing, but okay, maybe it is true. It's not maybe, Prof, it is true. They didn't like us because of that. And it was to a point where, like, when we'd arrive to my grandmother's place with new clothes, she would always like look at me and my sister, like, oh, you have new clothes. By the way, my sister, she wasn't nice to them. She just couldn't be like me. I felt the energy of not being welcomed and them just being a little jealous, and I still was nice, but my sister, she just was like, and they didn't even talk to her, so they'd come to me, because I was more nicer, and then they'd be like, oh, your dad bought you clothes, oh my gosh, these are nice shoes, you must tell him I also want shoes. And as a kid, that made me feel bad, because it made me feel like, oh, my dad, it's a bad thing when he buys me things, so I would actually go back to my dad and I would tell him those things. But anyways, the main story is the fact that my cousin, she is the child of the aunt. Remember I mentioned a granny and the aunt who I felt don't like us, so she is the child of the aunt, my father's sister. So she is like someone I look up to. She's always been so strong, and I remember she always be suspended from school for fighting, and she was just someone who you couldn't just try her like that and think it's okay, no one could just walk all over her. She was like a strong girl, so I was really inspired by her, and every time she'd come over to my house, because her mom, after we moved in with my dad, her mom was someone who lived with us, and she would clean the house and just be a mother figure, I guess. I think my father was also looking for someone to be like a mother figure, because her kids were a little bit older. She was I think 5 years older than me, so she also had a sibling who already had children, who was my cousin, and they were living in another place in the hood, and they were old enough to maintain a house. So I think my dad thought it would be fit for her to come, because when we came to live with my dad, we were very young. I think I was 9 years old, so my cousin is there, and it's fun to have her there. But then I realized that she didn't have much, because of her mom. Obviously her mom didn't have an income in Ninzi, and so she really liked as brands, and she wanted these clothes, and she wanted to fit into society so badly, but her mom unfortunately couldn't afford to do that. So my dad was obviously that one who provided for all of the family members, if not half of them, so she would come and visit my house, and I remember when she'd visit, bro, now I really did not see the value of food back then. Because we had a full fridge, we had different types of meat, minced bacon, fish fingers, we had chicken, beef, everything, do you understand? And so when she'd go to my house, now I would literally get home from school and I'd make myself toasted bread with an egg, or with cheese that's melted. I was lazy to make myself a very nice burger type of meal, but I'd wait for dinner, because dinner was obviously several colors, so when she'd come visit, bro, she would make sure she'd make herself sonka with bacon, mushroom, burgers, fish fingers. She would pile it up, and then she'd sit there with a big mug of coffee, and I'm she's you playing yourself like that? You gonna eat that? I'm yeah. I'm like, bro, enjoy yourself. I really was like, get your life, girl. No, I didn't, but now I'm like, yo, I should have made myself a meal like that too. Because now I've been thinking back when I don't have bacon because maybe it's too expensive. Yeah, well. But anyways, she was that girl. Okay, so when she'd come over, we would chill and it was fun. But guys, I cannot lie, I did not like her mom. At first, I actually liked her mom because, as I said, was like I grew up and my mom told me to respect everyone, and we like literally listen to our parents and everything they say about. So like when she passed away and I lived with my dad, I obviously was approaching everything using those principles in my head, like I should be kind to her and nice to her, even though I felt the energy of like jealousy and not being wanted or welcome. So I was like, this lady, I liked her again at first. And I remember when I would go to school, I would bring back like sweets for her and chips, especially like ones that I discovered, like I tasted, I'm like, oh my gosh, this tastes so amazing. Because every time we'd go home, she would be there, and then my dad would come a little bit later from work. So I'd bring her chips, and I remember this other day, she's like, yo, how you love me, ne? And I'm like, well, I like you as a person. My mom taught me to be kind to people, so I don't know about love though, but that's what I said in my head. Then I just smiled and I was like, yeah, and I gave her the chips. Hi guys, but the reason why I do not like her anymore is because this lady, she would actually steal some of our things, and then she would give them to her children and her grandchildren. Remember, I told you she has 2 daughters. The other one already has children, and then the other one is the one that would visit and would like prepare herself a nice leveled up meal, So she would like steal our clothes to give the kids, her grandchildren. And I really was annoyed because like something would just disappear, and then you think to yourself, where did I put it? And you look for it. And then one day we visit them, and then you see the kid running, and you're like, isn't that my top? Isn't that my shoe? What the hell? I've been looking for this for so long. And then you ask her, and then she acts like she doesn't know where it is. She even helps you find it at some point. And that's why I ended up not liking her, because she would take our clothes. And like, hey guys, she would take our toys, our books. This other time my sister got a hiding from my dad because she told my dad that she couldn't find the book, and my dad was mad at her because she's like, why are things always disappearing? And like, I'm wasting my money, because this, like, me and my sister both had this atlas book, which was for social sciences, I think, and it shows maps and stuff like that. So she probably thought because it looks similar, she could take one and give it to one of her grandchildren. And it's like, no, this is for 2 different grades. Do you understand? Because my sister's older than me. So when it disappeared, she's busy helping my sister look for it, but she knows she took it, bro. And my sister got a hiding for that. And then when my sister found out, she literally went to my dad and was so pissed. And then my dad, like, I think my dad knew now when we can't find things, we know, well, okay, she may have taken them. And like, I understand now that I'm older, because she was trying to, make sure that her kids have things, and her child, my cousin, the one that would come to my house, she would always be so mad when her mom couldn't like do things for her, because sometimes she would buy things Mama Mike, and then you find that it's not like the original brand, maybe it's a fake brand, and then she would throw it and she would cry, And so yeah, bro, it was like the worst. So it even filtered into her, because when she'd come to my house, like, I would even have to follow her and make sure she doesn't get into my room, because she would take some of my clothes as well, and like my shoes and all my sister's clothes or shoes, because she also was going through a stage, you know, she was a teenager at some point, was when we grew up, and she wants to go clubbing, you know, and fit in with her high school friends, but you know, she doesn't have these clothes. So she'd come to my house and she would steal these clothes. So this other time, I couldn't find my shoe, my school shoe, and I think it was about to open. It was January, schools were about to open. So I'm like pissed. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's probably her who stole my stuff. And then the aunt heard this, and apparently she went and told them. And she was so angry, my cousin, that she came to my house and was like confronting me. And I'm like, hey, bro, why are you mad? Like, you guys take stuff without asking. Like, why are you mad? That's called theft. When you take someone's stuff without asking, it is called theft. So I was confused when she was mad, like, you guys do this, you know? And it would have been so much better if she would have come to me and said, hey, I would like to get some clothes for my kids, you know. She didn't even have to say I can't afford it. I would have understood and said, okay, you can take this and this and that and that. Now her just taking my clothes without her asking, it really pissed me off. And then she would act like there's nothing wrong with this, bro. Like, even my grandmother knew her for stealing because she took her old TV this other time. She just takes stuff because she assumes you don't want it or you've grown. No, you need to ask me. They are my stuff. I really was just so mad by that lady, bro. Like, she really had this habit that annoyed me of, like, every time when we went out, me and my dad and my sister, and maybe we went to go buy clothes, like, and then we get home and then we put it in our room. We don't just pack it. Maybe we're telling ourselves, okay, we're gonna pack it before we sleep or something. We're gonna look at it again, wear it in the mirror, who knows. I'm that girl. But anyways, we put them there, and then maybe we're in the living room watching TV, and then she disappears. I'll see to you going to check where she is. She's there looking at our clothes that we bought, checking the price, looking at... Who does that? It's so annoying. So this is the reason why I stopped liking her. And I was like, how old is this lady? Like, I used to get so annoyed. You know the power of this. If she just spoke, I would have understood. I would have even helped her out. But the fact that she even, like, used to act like she didn't do anything wrong. And on top of that, it even got to a point where she even accused me of being jealous. And I'm like, hey, bro. This other time, guys, she had this thing where she'd overhear, like, my dad saying, oh, okay, we're gonna go out this weekend, we're going to Nice now, we're just gonna, you know, have an adventure, you know, as a family, like me, my sister, and my dad. And then she hears this maybe on a Thursday, and she knows it's gonna happen on a Saturday. On the Friday, she runs to the hood and fetches her grandkids and brings them. I was so annoyed. At that time, I'm a teenager. So now, when we go to Nice at the elephant park, I must now take care of kids. I was so annoyed. I was just so annoyed. It even got to a point where I was like, I'm not gonna go, bro. My dad and my sister and the kids went. My dad was like, you're not gonna go. He was pissed. He's like, okay then, okay, you're gonna stay outside then. I was like, all right. And I'm like, bruh, I know how to break into my own house. Toodles. But then they left. I was like, I'm always gonna be babysitting these kids outside. Every time she hears something, that lady, she goes fetches those kids. But she's accusing me of being jealous. Now these kids, they come, they sleep over. And then now it's time to go to sleep. When it's time to go to sleep, I see my highball. These are my pajamas, Moss. And I've been looking for these pajamas. So like, why are they here? And I'm pissed now. So I go to her, and I think my dad wasn't home at that time. So I'm pissed and I'm like, hey, why would you do this? Like my clothes. And then she turns around and says, I'm jealous again. Yo, guys, I was so pissed. which is something I regret saying now, but I just flipped and I told her, what? You're the one who is always stealing our clothes, bringing him to your children. You're the, like, you don't even have anything to look up to. I said stuff like that to her. And some I'm not going to mention here because I don't want to, but I really went in. I was really telling her truths. And I'm like, how am I the jealous one when you're the one stealing our stuff? I was so pissed. I was really pissed. But now that I'm older, I really understand what she was doing, for her children, And I think I forgive her now that I'm older and I understand. I don't even mean to forgive. It's not that deep, but it's like something that was annoying. But because she was also doing it for my cousin who I liked and her grandkids who I also liked, it's like, okay, now that I'm older, cool. But I just wish she was an adult about it and wasn't stealing our clothes. She could have even spoken to my dad and said, can I please take their clothes when they have outgrown them and give them to my children? It would have been easier than her just taking it, But yeah, guys, that's my story for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this. And let me know what else you'd like to see from me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you care. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.